Good evening. I would like to call the April 8th meeting of the Village Chess Board to order. Staff, could we please have a roll call?
Chair Roberts,
Present.
Vice Chair Ganella,
Here.
Board Member Anderson,
Present.
Board Member Garten. Here. Board Member Idell. Here. Board Member Alvarez.
Here.
Board Member Battersby is currently absent and Board Member Meredith is currently absent. We do have a.
Are there any public comments this evening?
I wanted to make them just step down.
Maybe you didn't know it was right. Well, seeing none, we will move on. Are there any board comments this evening? None. I would like to take the opportunity on behalf of the board tonight to welcome all of you for being here. You are what makes Village Fest work. We just celebrated our 33rd birthday. So we've been doing this for a while. And we're glad you're here.
We haven't been here all 33 years. Just clarification for a minute.
I have. Shortly, we will call you up one by one. You will have up to 5 minutes to convince us that you should be admitted into the Village Street festivities. You don't have to take 5 minutes, but you have up to 5 minutes. Our Sergeant at Arms, Board Member Anderson, will time you at 4 minutes. He'll say 4 minutes. At 5 minutes, we will stop you, and then the board will ask you questions, followed by a vote. So, we'll begin shortly, and look forward to hearing what you have to say. You'll come up here, press the button on the microphone, and when you do that, that's when your time will start. Is there any correspondence?
Oh, we have none.
None, seeing none. All right, consent calendar. Let us vote. Is there a motion on the floor to accept the minutes for the meeting this evening?
Not this evening, you mean the last meeting.
The minutes for tonight.
Oh, agenda.
The agenda.
Sorry, it's minutes. I meant it.
I'll second it.
Let's vote. Cheryl.
Yes.
Dan.
Yes.
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 Julia, Antonio, and
Yes.
David. Thank
Yes.
you. Now the minutes. How about a motion to approve the minutes from our March 11th meeting?
So moved.
Second.
David,
Yes.
Antonio.
Yes.
Celia.
Yes.
Yes. Dan.
Yes.
Cheryl.
Yes.
Very good. Thank you. I understand that the first vendor, Carlos Marquez, is not here this evening.
Correct.
So we will move on to Sydney Jaider, Home Flow. Hi. I hope you're ready. Come on up. When you're ready, push the button on the microphone and it will turn green and you'll be ready.
Hi, I'm Sydney. Hi.
Joey.
We are Home Flow. We hand make all of our resin pieces, home decor pieces. All of our pieces are filled with real flowers, real fruit that we dehydrate ourselves or press ourselves. We just put them in kind of different molds. Every single piece is just like designed by us as well. We take the time to kind of put all the colors together that match and everything like that with the style. We can definitely pass around some pieces if you'd like.
Please.
We've been doing these for the last 5 years. I'll send some this one and some this as well. We just have a variety of things. We think it would be a good match for you guys' market. We definitely think our resin is different and unique. We also have some jewelry here as well.
Yeah.
That is, yes.
We haven't seen him.
I know, we thought a lot.
It's for Canada.
Multi-purpose.
Yeah, so yeah, that's, I mean, we've basically been doing this full time for a while. We do a lot of markets. We have a lot of experience with markets. We've been doing them for almost the last 10 years. And So we're definitely used to the setup. We have our setup down. We have a nice display and things, and we think we'd be a really good addition for your downtown.
Do you make pieces bigger than that or?
We have just started, a new, style that we're hoping to get out before the next market if we can get into it. But yes, a little bit bigger, and then we do have some table styles we do kind of by custom, but we'd love to start kind of pushing them out more and things like that. Yeah, I can start with it.
I love the mixed media
With the
with the wood as well. It's really nice.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's cool.
Describe for us how you would make an item. Just walk us through the
Yeah.
steps of how that happens.
So basically what we would do is we get our molds prepared. Resin is a two-part mixture, if you're familiar with it or anything, but we, for the mixture, we pour it into layers. So we kind of place everything in our first layer, flour wise or fruit wise. We kind of babysit it for a little bit, test our patience a little bit, you know, and then we have to do another layer once it's hardened a bit. And it's basically about a 48-hour process for each piece. But we do obviously as much as we can in one sitting and, yeah.
I think these are really, sounds really neat.
I have to comment that the finishing work on them is really nice, because we've
Thank
seen
you.
other poured resin pieces where they're rough on the edge or a little sharp.
Okay, yeah.
Definitely, yeah, we try to
it's
finish
nice that you
everything.
finish them off really nicely. It makes it more like a retail product. you know?
Thank you.
I appreciate that. Yeah, we definitely felt some unfinished ones that came and almost cut you.
yeah.
So.
Easily cut you.
Are the flowers, are they actually this small or do they shrink or something?
No, they're actually this small. I get an array of flowers online versus, and also we try to press as many as we can from our garden and stuff. So I try to get little ones just for the earrings and things like that.
Do you use local flowers like bougainvillea and stuff like that as well?
We do have our own little garden that we've been trying to get as much out of, and a lot of them are native. I'm not sure if we have that one specifically, but we,
It's cool though that you do local stuff, because a lot of people that come to Village Fest might be tourists and to bring home a little piece of.
Definitely.
absolutely. We're working on some like California poppy stuff coming up too, which I think would be a nice addition. Thanks.
Yeah, to follow on Damon's comment, something Palm Springs centric would be really popular, I think.
Absolutely, yeah, we would love to do something in the
Yeah.
theme, if you local flowers or anything like that that are native, yeah, absolutely.
If you go around right now, a lot of the cactuses are blooming.
Oh, okay.
So using cactus blooms would be cool, using paddles from paddle cactus, the smaller ones as they grow would be a cool idea too. Be something very local.
Yeah, we would love to incorporate things like that.
Here, 4 minutes. We did see photos. I don't see any fruit though. How often do you?
Oh, we have a couple in
Sorry, maybe we
here.
didn't get passed over there, we did
We just have a
um,
couple lemons at the
yes.
moment, but
some of our slices, we dehydrate ourselves and everything like that.
That gives you
You make a coaster.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Larger things like cheese boards, cutting boards, or do you do that?
Yeah,
We do bigger ones and stuff, but even something like this board, we would love to kind of fill in and make as like its own little display board and things like that, or a serving tray.
small
all of
tables as well, and things like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and tables would be.
Mhm.
Definitely. And all of our resin is food grade, so it can be served on and everything like that too.
Probably not dishwasher safe.
It's not, no, it's all.
Any other board questions?
I think we're ready to make a motion.
Rick, please.
I make a motion that we accept
Well,
home flow into Village Fest.
Thank you so much.
I'll second that.
Good. Let's vote. David,
Yes.
Antonio,
Yes.
Celia,
Yes.
yes, Dan,
Yes.
and Cheryl.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Oh,
Welcome.
thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
much, guys. I appreciate your
Appreciate it,
time.
guys.
Right. Soon.
Okay, thank you.
Build up that inventory.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
I
guys.
can see larger pieces. I can see people wanting like trays and things.
Absolutely. We'll definitely do some things like that. Thank you guys so much.
Was it acrylic?
It's expensive. I mean, it's all spicy.
3D gift, Joe Chavez. Joe, are you here? Hi, please come on up.
Thank you. Okay.
Turned it off.
Turn it back.
Oh, I turned it off. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Okay, sorry. Yeah, it's green now. All right. Well, I've been working on a project for 5 years, integrating some, leading edge 3D scanning. And also from that, making a figurine, a of that person or that pet. So, this is the culmination of some work. This is some of the flyers that we would be using. You can see where we're scanning pets and people. And, what we do is, after we do the scanning, we create a 3D, figurine. Our process requires that we need to color it afterwards. This is very popular in sports, like in soccer league. We'll go to a soccer league and then we'll scan the kids that are either winning or that the parents want to scan. This is me right here. I can pass this around in different sizes. I was wearing, so we have two different type of figurines. One of them is with a resin fill, which is a more durable. And another one is lower cost, which is like a sandstone. But we need to do a lot of editing to the image after you have to come to our studio and we put you inside this scanner. And it doesn't matter, if you move, because that's one of the challenges with this technology is that people cannot get a good 3D capture because, we're blinking or twitching. As much as you want to, right, we have involuntary reflexes. And so we're not able to get a really good capture, but our cameras will take 2 sets of pictures, 120 pictures of you from different angles. So imagine 12 poles and you're in the middle of it and these 120 cameras are taking pictures of you. And it doesn't matter that you twitch or blink because the pictures happen in 1/10 of a millisecond. Pop, pop, real quick. And anyway, this is some more examples of the stuff that we make. And
So, excuse
and
me,
so,
can I just ask, well, I know I'm.
yes,
Look, this one's very much sharper than this. Is this the sandstone and?
yes,
Okay.
yeah, the sharper one is the resin
Okay,
and a little more cost because of the materials. And yeah, the sandstone is a little less, but you know what happens? In a larger one, the sandstone is the quality improves.
Sharper. Yeah.
Sharper, thank you.
wow.
The sandstone is also good for pets, right?
Yes, there you go, exactly.
You said you have to paint them?
We do have to touch them up afterwards,
Well, they come out colored, right?
Yes, yes.
It is a color.
I
Okay.
have some examples of how they come out. Here's some examples. I'll show you. I think one that's you see that it's kind of like sandy looking. And then we need to actually colorize them afterwards to get the colors to pop. I can get
So your plan would obviously not be to have the equipment at Village Fest.
no, I would print them afterwards. I would print them and deliver them within a week to 2 weeks. So the objective is to bring the scanner to capture
Okay.
the data. And then within a week or two, ship out or bring, if people decide to come the next week, I'll bring the figurine. You see the one that's like Sandy in one of these pictures? They might have got mixed up. But it gives you an example of how they come out of the printer and we have to colorize them afterwards.
I thought you said you had to come to your studio to do this.
You do, okay, so my initial feedback was that my scanner's portable. And then I read afterwards that you guys go indoors. So I'm kind of interested when you.
No, we
No, you
don't.
go
No,
outdoors.
it's totally
That
up.
must have been the farmer's market.
The farmer's market goes indoors starting next week, but no. we don't.
Okay, so I can put my unit in conventional trailer, conventional 8.5 by 20 trailer. And put the scanner in there and bring the scanner with me.
So you can do it right there at Village Fest.
Yes.
But you can't print them into the truck.
I cannot print them, no, because the printing actually takes, just one print, it takes, between 4 to 5 hours. But if I'm doing 20 scans, that's like, right, do the math. Yeah, it's not possible to, I'm sorry?
Can you do it from a photo?
No.
I can, but it won't be as accurate. So, yeah, people give me somebody that's passed away and I can do it, but because I don't have all the data, we have to fake it, right? To our best of, because like, if it's like this and I don't know how your left ear looks,
Yeah.
right? Depends on the photo and the quality of the photo, but yes, I can do a photo.
both the resin and the sandstone take as much time?
Uh,
I'll tell you what
No,
I'm
the-
asking,
the
because I've seen
resin-
this done at a place in New York, at Chelsea Market,
oh, yes, yes.
and they do it while you're there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I was not aware. Yeah. The
I mean, you
print,
have to come back, you know, like in an hour or something, but yeah, but it's not.
yeah, well, that's very fast then. That's different. Yes, I know about another company in New York that does what I'm doing, yes.
Okay.
There's very few. I mean, I would say
Where-
there's a handful in the whole country.
Where's your studio?
In Moreno Valley. And so what I would do is I would take that scanner and I would put it into a trailer. It's portable. And then scan on site. I do that with like I said, Sports League, like with my daughter's AYSO in Redlands. They've invited me several times and I set up in a trailer and the kids just come in.
Can you ship it then, instead of someone coming back? Because again, we have a number of tourists who come.
Yes,
They may not be here next week or in 2 weeks.
yeah, yeah. My preference is to ship it, it's easier for everybody. I am working to the point that you're making. I have another printer that I'm starting to put together. And I'll be able to ship in 2 to 3 days. Because I know the competition, the mindset Amazon has put on everybody's head is that things can be done in days rather than weeks. And so, maybe within a month, I'll be able to, do things in quicker turnaround. 2 or 3 days shipping.
We're at 7 minutes.
What are I know it was in your application, but I don't recall. What are the price points?
Okay, so the starting point for the small ones is $150. And the tallest ones, the bigger ones, $250. So a lot of the same data capture, right? The same effort is required, whether you choose a small one or a big one, because it's the same data and the same amount of art. The graphic artist has to clean up the file. But the printing, is all that's the difference. So, and some kids are using the 3D image as a game. So all they want is the data, all they want is the 3D file, and they put themselves into games. Rather than selecting an avatar, they put themselves in the games.
Is that something that you could hand off to them at the fair?
Yeah, that I could hand off. Yeah, the graphic file, if they wanted, if that's also all they want,
Okay, that's
it would
good.
be like $99.
That's so cool. And a lot of people come with their dogs to Village Fest.
Yeah, and like I said, we do pets as well, so,
Joe, we have nothing like this. This is unique.
yeah.
You're gonna have to tell this story though, so people know. Have you been to a Village Fest?
No, well, I visited last week.
You saw the crowds.
Yeah,
There's a lot of people walking by. You need to grab them and you need to, so they understand what it is you're doing.
yeah.
Because this is unique.
It-
The other thing is, I would think certainly local people might want to know about this and say, I'm coming back next week wearing an outfit that I want.
Yes, yes,
So to prepare them for that.
Yes. yes, that happens a lot. We have people come in.
And, or bring my dog,
Yeah. Yes, people want to be dressed in a certain way, and this is great when you have something unique, and, flowery or, colorful. This is great because what you do is that you preserve that outfit forever, right? Oh, and then a lot of people send these, across the country to their grandparents, or,
Right.
the kids to,
The most important question,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
if I do this, can you give me more hair and? make-
Yes. So that's part of the graphic, my grandson is missing his bottom teeth and I just scanned him 2 weeks ago. Grandpa, put my teeth back in. Or sometimes it does happen, people close their eyes, it does happen. And then I might need to take another scan, or if I don't, with a graphic artist, we open your eyes. So yes, with any scarring, we can remove, like me, we can remove the scarring.
How long does the scan process take?
By seconds.
Oh.
You walk in and it says 1, 2, 3, boom, it's done.
Wow.
So
Yes,
It's like the scanner at the airport, yeah, like.
yes, exactly. It's seconds. It would be if you don't like what you saw because whatever. I then need to do a second or third
Oh,
scan.
wow, you can actually see the result.
Yes, I can show you before because, okay, you're happy with this? Okay, all thumbs up. And so I can usually scan between 10 to 15 people an hour.
You have cards?
I don't, yeah, I know,
Should,
sorry.
yeah.
But I do have this flyer you can take with you,
Okay.
and there's a, what do you call that, a QR code?
QR code.
Yeah, if you guys want some of these, they're, I brought it for that reason. It's unique, something.
Antonio had a
I had a
question.
question for staff.
there an issue with the size of the thing? If you were.
We'd have to just see how big he said it was and then see what room we have.
Well, is the trailer for dropping off the scanner and then you go park it, or is?
No,
it-
no,
Stay there?
Yeah,
Stays
stays
there.
inside,
Stays
yeah.
on.
So the trailer would be anywhere between 16 to 20 feet. So it's like with your vendors, your food vendors. So it'd be in that range, 16 to 20 feet, 8.5 feet wide.
Because we're typically 12 by 12, right?
Right, but
But we can handle that.
yes, our rules and regulations allow for a trailer for double size of what our typical booth is.
Okay.
Mhm.
Could you fabricate an outfit? Could you fabricate what they're wearing? Like if somebody came up and wanted to be scanned, but then wants to be in a caftan or wants to be in a baseball uniform?
Yes, so I usually bring props with me. I bring footballs and caps and things like that, so
Like the
people.
photo booth at a wedding. Got you.
Yes,
Very cool.
yes.
Very cool. Okay.
So,
great.
but yeah, they could be added too afterwards, like you said, some kind of feature that they want.
Yeah.
The graphic artist can, yeah, you can perfect yourself. Yes.
Any other board questions for Joe?
I love this. Let me start by saying that, but this is very different from anything else that's here in the fact that he's gonna be taking these pictures on site. And then I've heard a lot of discussion about graphic artists off-site. And so I just wanted to say it for the record. It's just different than not. Obviously, the actual product is different too, but I mean, the process here and just that somebody's gonna take that, do it off-site and have other people working on the product. So I just wanted to mention that as far as rules go.
Would you consider an attraction instead of an arts and crafts? Even though you do get a product at the end, it's kind of like the video that you get from the lady who does the spinning camera.
Yeah, and she's under entertainment.
Oh, you
Yeah.
don't get that there?
Entertainment or attraction.
I didn't know that you didn't get that there.
Oh, you do.
No, you do.
Okay.
But yeah, this would be similar to like a Michigan piece too as well.
So attraction, I would hesitate against because it does say in your comprehensive fee schedule that it's a venue. So this would not be a venue, this would be an independent person. You could consider entertainment, but I would caution you in terms of the fee differential.
It's also a product.
It is a
It's a product,
It
it's a
is.
product
Yeah, you're
of a
buying.
substantial cost, so I would say that it needs to be.
I think this is gonna be a very popular booth.
I think it's fun.
Great.
It's cool.
Joy, I wanted to go back to your question. Was your concern data being out in the public domain that, I didn't understand your.
My concern is the 75% handcrafted rule and that, and not only that, but he was doing the 3D photography there, but then bringing it back where there's several people that are involved with the actual making of it. But this is something that is so unique that I don't think that it's like a red flag, but I don't know if it's a precedent
Well,
either.
I also heard that the graphic artist might be there to embellish if that was an add-on, but I think a standalone, you could just go and be scanned and then have it 3D printed. And that would all be done by, yeah, right?
It sounded
Yes.
like
It's all closed loop.
Right.
Yeah.
Does the graphic artist, will they be on site or they only on site?
No, I mean, no.
After it's
Not
printed,
printed there, yeah.
they
That's what
would,
you're.
that's where the graphic artist, this group of
Yeah.
graphic artists
Explain that
and
you-
craftsmen are coming.
explain
into
how they
it.
paint it.
So
Are you
he's
talking about
taking
how
the
they paint it?
pictures
Yeah,
basically.
yeah,
and-
yeah.
Am I wrong that he's
Understand
taking the
But the
pictures
machine
and somebody
is
else
doing
is
the-
making
The
it?
machine is the one that's making the product. It's not a person, it's a machine.
Can you describe the
Right.
role of the graphic artist in this? What I heard
Oh, yeah,
is
of
it's like
course.
touching up.
So it's a,
That's what I
so,
wanna know.
okay, so the booth takes 120 pictures. And those 120 pictures have to be through software combined, like meshed in, right? All the 120, and creates one 3D image of you. Then that 3D image, it's never perfect, graphics is not that, or the capture is not that perfect. The graphic artist will go in, and if you have your fingers like, for whatever reason, there'll be some webbing, because your fingers were like too close, or too far apart, and so they do touch up. But again, oh, if you're wearing glasses, if you have reflection on your, because of your glasses, they'll draw your eyes back in. So they'll do any embellishment on the 3D image before I print it. What I do is, for some people, when they want a lot of changes, I send them the file and say, okay, is that what you're looking for? And then I bring it back and then I print it.
So it's really just editing and corrections.
Yes,
Is what they're doing.
most of it
They're
is
not
correct.
creating it. They're just correcting it.
They're just correcting
So
it.
that it prints out.
Yes.
100% right.
The whole thing is that we want to capture your unique clothes or whatever design, so we're not changing any of that. And then what's most important too is the capture of the head of the, that's like the most important one. So anything that doesn't capture that perfectly, well, fingers are that different, right? But your face is unique.
So the artist is really doing finishing work. They're really not creating the art.
Correct.
So it seems like really it goes more under photography than anything else. You're taking the pictures that are now gonna be made into a product. That's the answer.
And
Thank
he
you.
did explain to
I
me
got
that he
you.
hand paints it.
That would be the answer. for
Yeah.
that.
Any other board questions? Are we
Yeah.
ready?
Well, all I can add to it is that I still think it's artisan because, we're taking something modern and we're taking other people that are skilled in touch up. To make something unique between the old world and new world.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How about a motion?
I move to accept my 3D gift into Village Fest.
Second.
Let's vote. Cheryl.
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
I say yes. Celia?
Yes.
Tanya?
Yes.
And David.
Yes.
Congratulations, John.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see it.
Please come by the booth and we'll
We will. We certainly will.
give you a scan.
Thank you.
Me too.
Marisol. Rainbow Spark Circus.
Hi, friend.
Like how-
Well, you heard it. I'm Marisol. I also go by Rainbow Sparks, and I created this business because I'm a freelance artist. I grew up painting murals alongside my mom, painting faces. So I just was always around the clown life. And after I broke up with my partner, the one we used to sell crystals together here. So I know you guys very well and how to work with you alongside you. I realized I just wasn't pursuing my own art, my own craft as much as I felt like I was called to. So ever since then, I've just been refining my craft, my skill, my sculpture. I also paint murals. So while I'm painting murals, I'll paint my clothing and I start embellishing hats. So I wanted to show you some of my creations that I do in my little workshop. It starts out with hats. I also have all sorts of apparel. And I paint and embellish bags. And I also love to make fun little tchotchke keychains that sit alongside them. But I like to let people customize it. So if they come in with a custom request to paint their own pants, then I'll be like, okay, what kind of color scheme would you like? And what size are you? And I'll take them and I'll customize them. I'll paint anything they'd like. This is just like a fun collection of a couple murals that I painted. And I just, instead of wiping it on a rag, I'll just wipe it on here. And the reason why I started to do that was because I would just wear them because I love them. And one day I was walking around and this lady comes up to me. She's like, "Where'd you get them?" I'm like, "Well, they're mine, but I could make something if you'd like." So she shipped me a pair of her own pants and I painted them just with whatever I felt. And she paid me for them. So that's why I started to expand what it is that I do instead of just for the events of it being like a temporal face paint. Then I could, create some sort of special embellishments for them. And I also created this little number here. This is a combination of recycled bottle material. And I put a little light and some crystals. This one is a fun one I just finished recently. And it also turns on like a little lamp.
Is that made on display or what's the material on that?
This, yeah, it's It's an architectural material. It's very, yeah, it's very unique. It's not in the main market. I just order it special online. And I also make very intricate little crystal designs. I do soft solder, which is kind of like a welding material. And this one is,
Yeah, pass that around.
yeah, of course. I just want to get the little sand dollar magnet I have in here because it's precious. But yeah, I love like the pirate clown core energy. So like I like to combine seashells and crystals alongside all the fun things I make. The little magnet. I hand paint everything. Here's some little earrings on little tickets. And yeah, I'd love to include children as well because I know how important it is to just like influence the youth. So I make like special little cone hats for them too. And got a little something and sock puppets. So the reason why I started making sock puppets is
Kids love sock puppets.
yes, exactly. So I recently started teaching clowning to children. And one of the ways I had to figure out how to do that was by encouraging them to unlock their inner silly. And this was the best way to do it because it helped me to figure out how to communicate with them and really like engage their attention. So this is Webs, and she's wearing a little custom button I made too. Want to say hi, Webs? Hi.
We're at 4 minutes.
Lovely. Thank you, Mister. You've got to bring her out a little bit, but this creature is like the most influential thing I've ever been able to harness because like it kind of bridges a gap between me being an adult and them being a child because I'm playing with them and communicating. And it was just so easy for me to make this, and I have all the materials because I already make these, and I figured why not have something that the kids can easily, you know, take home with them. So this is like a little adoption certificate I made for them, and you can also have a script. This is also a print of a piece I made from makeup. I didn't want to waste my makeup, so that piece I just kind of like put together and scribbled, and it's gold leafed as well.
No.
Sorry, can I ask a question about some of this story? So these, yeah, I wanted to ask about that too. These, so what part of this did you make?
So what I did for that was the chaining of the little tiny charms, and then I also wired the little
wire
drop,
wrap?
the dewdrop.
Wait.
Yes. So the
The
base
middle
is,
one.
I didn't make the base with resin. I just chained the little bits to it. And then for the rings, I make them from bare wire. So I wire,
So the part that you actually made was the wire wrap on this,
and the bottom parts, all the bottom charms I attach.
but those are just done with jump rings and,
Uh-huh.
yeah, so.
Yes, I work with jump rings a lot because all you need to like embellish a little bit is jump ring and a
Sure.
charm. So charms are my favorite.
And I understand
Yeah,
that.
of course.
I'm just trying to figure out, because this pair of earrings would not be 75% handmade, except that you just wire wrap this.
No, I said I did the charm part and I did the
Right, but
dewdrop.
you took
So
components,
yeah,
like jump
I see what
rings.
you're saying.
You didn't make the components, you took them and put them together.
I
Which
see,
is-
in that regard, I see what you're
Yeah.
saying, but
And let me ask about.
I guess I wouldn't need to really
I can
sell
clarify,
those.
that's assembly versus
Yeah.
scrap, that's
I'm
what
just
you
trying
said,
to,
so.
I'm just trying to clarify.
And it's good to have the separation for me, so I know what to bring and what not if I do get accepted,
Yeah,
but I
I'm
do
just trying
make
to-
a lot of my stuff
I'm just,
from bare
because I
material.
did jewelry too, so I'm just trying to clarify
Of
for the
course,
sports and all. So this piece, what did you do on this piece? What did you make?
The entire thing except for the stuff.
What's the material that you processed?
That's sterling silver.
Okay.
And what it is, I lay out the main base of the wire, and then I wrap the band of the wire,
Okay.
and then they come to a center from there around the outside. So
That
when they,
definitely
I
qualifies.
have another one right here too, so I'll
This
show
would-
you.
Yeah, that would definitely qualify. And this one, I'm guessing, is the wrapping of this piece?
The wrapping and the chain, yes.
The chain is something that you didn't make. You didn't make the chain. You just.
The chain I cut up.
Let me
Yeah,
finish.
I
Let
don't.
me just ask a question. The chain you didn't make, you added this to an existing chain, correct?
No, I cut the chain. I cut the chain and then I add the
Let's see you
clasp.
cut the chain.
She buys the chain on the roll.
higher roll.
Right, so I'm saying it's a component and you add the charm to the chain, to an existing chain. You just
Well,
measure and cut the chain. You don't make the chain.
Marisol, understand
Yeah.
why you're being asked this question.
I agree.
We require that you make at least 75% of each
So
item.
each item
Yeah,
as
so
itself.
there are things that are assembled,
Mhm.
like strung beads, which are beautiful,
I know.
but we're looking for more of an artisan craft, so that's why you're being asked and drilled down into this.
And it's just about this, these things are all perfectly fine. We see 100% that you made these. I'm just trying to get a definition
Yeah, of course.
for whether or not this qualifies.
Can I see that?
Yeah, so I just wanted to be clear. I understand where you're coming from with that. I'm not trying to be confronted at all, but yeah, so the reason why I put chain on it is because all I have besides that is this black wire, and I think
So
as it's nice, but
that's all you're not understanding.
if I were to
I'm
sell
not
my
questioning
pendant-
about why you add the chain. I'm just trying to figure out if you make the chain, if it's a component, like you
Yeah.
buy jump rings, you buy chain, you buy clasps.
Mhm.
Those are all components,
Mhm.
and you assemble them together. And you can make a piece of jewelry, but those are not handmade items. Those are components that you put together. Your ring, the ring that you made where you wrap that, that's handmade. That's, I can see that, but it's not about why you're using chain, it's whether or not the
Yeah.
chain is a component or a handmade piece.
Mm.
So that does not qualify as a handmade piece.
If I can raise something though here. We have approved people who take crystals, wire wrap them and hang them on a chain they purchase. So I don't have a problem with this particular piece, and the reason being that, because she's buying chain on a roll. And then she's finding clasp and then embellishing it by attaching clasp. She's also embellishing with the star and the stone. Does the stone come attached to the star or?
I wire that myself.
Yeah, so she's wired this together, so I kind of feel like a lot of it has handcraft except for the chain itself.
Well, then I think that's the issue. My issue is, how can we distinguish between, like that pair of earrings would not
Yeah.
qualify? We can't do it piece by piece, so how many of these pieces are, does she wanna have in the stone?
We're at 10 minutes.
Yeah,
I see what you mean about
that one piece, I think, yeah.
I agree with that, but.
And other things, she might be putting them on a lathe, but again, if she's making the pendant and putting it on a lathe, she's certainly not weaving the lace, right? She's cutting the lace and she's knotting it.
That's why I
So-
brought it up.
Yeah, so that piece doesn't bother me, but the earrings I didn't really
Yeah,
catch well.
See what you're saying about that, and I, in my mind, for some reason, because of my ex's booth, I thought that 75% as a whole in the booth would be
No,
okay.
No, it's gonna be
Okay.
tried.
Yeah, okay, that's good to know, by the piece, and that would encourage me to have more, intention and how I crafted my pieces as well, because like, I would actually love to like have more of myself in this. Even though I didn't do this part, like I totally could do it in my own way, and I would love to. And I also would not mind to like embellish my chains a little bit more.
Yeah.
Marisol, let me comment that your jewelry is very nice, and I think the board understands, but you need to be aware that should we stop by your booth and take a look at what you're selling,
Yeah,
we could ask you a question of, did you make this? But having said that, we have a lot of jewelry at Village Fest,
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot.
yeah, this is a very small portion.
The other items you sell, the whimsy of some of those items and how they fit into the vibe of Palm Springs is really where your market is going to be.
Exactly.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
I feel that 100%, and I just I feel like this is such like a easy thing for me to do on the side, so I figured having like such a small selection for the women who do come in while their kids are shopping for puppets, or they're just like, trying to get their head shape sized for a hat would be great. But I do appreciate the clarification, and I think I also forgot to mention my hobo tutus. This is one of my favorite costuming that I've made, and I haven't seen anything like it.
Yeah.
But this is another thing I added to my list. Just like funky whimsy stuff is my
And
niche.
that is, as you know, this
Yeah.
is a very diverse,
Yeah,
eclectic community. So
costuming.
that is what will attract people, in
Mhm.
my opinion,
Mhm.
are those things.
But if I can offer, the thing to keep in your head is the difference between assembly
Yeah.
and crafting something.
Uh-huh.
And that is what they were questioning. I would say that the earrings, yes, I agree with you on the earrings.
Mhm.
The necklace, I don't have a problem with, because I think there's enough,
The ring is beautiful.
the
too.
ring and the necklace, I think there's enough handwork involved in all of it. The earrings are clearly just assembly.
Mhm.
So,
So if you're just assembling something, it should not be on your table.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
no, so I think that what I'm understanding is, so you're saying that the wire wrapping and the solder jewelry are acceptable?
Yes.
So I think that gives you an easier direction in that way. I mean, they have to vote in a minute, but I think that those were the things and the type of jewelry that would be allowed in just my opinion.
Thank you. That's a
But
good-
I just wanted to clear that up a little bit.
Not only are we gonna be walking around, there's a lot of people that have not passed the 75% rule. They still go to Village Fest and would come up to her and say, oh, how come that one made it? So it's not only us by our board ship, but a lot of people. As Greg said, there's so many jewelry booths,
Yeah.
so be careful.
Yeah, that's-
But I love the kids stuff, so you have my votes for that.
I feel that 100% in keeping my jewelry small. I literally have but one like little cupboard that I'm gonna have just
Yeah.
designated out of my entire 10-foot booth.
Let us move forward.
Okay,
Are
cool.
there any other board questions? How about
Well,
motion?
one more. Okay, you have shoes on your list. What do you do?
Yes, I also paint on my shoes. I do more intricate stuff, but I figured these went with my outfit today. I can literally paint just about anything. Like I painted that and I engraved that. So anything that people would like, and I'll have options for them to choose from if they want. But I only have such a selection, so I want to offer like customs. We encourage too.
Right.
But you're painting on their shoes, you're not providing, right? You're not providing like Converse sneakers and painting on them or anything like that? Okay.
Encourage that, but if they do ask me for customs, I will offer.
I just have to add one more thing with the Easter holiday coming up. A lot of people have Easter bonnet parties here in Palm Springs, and your hat.
This is my unofficial work hat.
Yeah. Good. Very good. Any other board questions?
Yeah.
Are we ready for a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept Rainbow Sparks Circus, with the qualifier that the items need to be 75% handmade, and that you will basically gauge that, on your own as you're putting those items out.
And I'll second that, and again, it's crafting, embellishment, either or versus assembly. Okay, just for your own.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Got you.
All right, let's vote. David,
I'll vote yes.
Antonio,
Yes.
Celia.
Yes.
I vote yes. Yes, Cheryl.
Yes.
Welcome, congratulations.
I love the rubber chicken, by the way.
The rubber
I think the
chicken.
kids' puppets are over
The
there.
puppet are just fabulous.
There's not enough stuff for kids.
Yeah, we definitely want stuff for kids.
And like the puppets are my favorite thing to like connect with them, so it's gonna be a
Yeah.
joy to bring them. And I also I hang them on my hat hangers, so it's really funny. It's kind of like they're hanging off like a you would see a hunter hang their hats on a wall. With a mount with sweeties.
Very cute. Adorable.
Thank you all. I got so much goodies. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful night. Thank you.
Next up is cruising karaoke, Tom Perry. Hi, Tom. Welcome.
Hello.
Come on up, please.
My name is Tom Perry. I'm the owner of a new business called Cruising Karaoke. I'm sure you have all seen those party bikes that go around town. They basically do bar crawls. It's a 2-hour ride and you spend about 45 minutes on the bike. The rest of the time, they just take you to bars. I rode for one of those companies for a few months and it occurred to me that you could do this better. I wondered why nobody's doing karaoke on this. Because I thought people would really enjoy it. So I had a bike built in Spain, had it shipped here before tariffs. And yes, it's outside in case you might have seen it. Yeah. I brought it, I couldn't fit it through the door. So anyway, it holds 12 people. I started doing test rides. I had to outfit it with all the karaoke equipment. That took about a month. I've been doing test rides through town. And I've gotten great responses, even better responses than when I rode the party bike. Because people look, you know, they, yay, but with this, I've had like an unbelievable number of people on the street and in the restaurants take out their cameras and videotape it. No, record it. And everybody has given me these rave reviews. My idea is to park the bike as a booth and to for a song. If you sing a song, you would spin a prize wheel and could get either like up to a free ride, which is a $400 value.
Wow.
There are discounted rides. I also have these stainless steel cups that are branded Cruising Karaoke, so I could give those away in an effort to promote the business. The two different kind of rides that I offer are you can buy the whole bike for $400 for 2 hours. Seats 12, you pick your 12. But because I started to go to the hotels to promote this, and you know, the Rowan was great, their concierge loved the idea, my brochures are on the desk. The manager at Zoso asked me to come in and we're talking about different ways we can partner. But going to the smaller hotels, I realized I'm never going to get somebody to book 12. So on Saturdays, I offer 2 90-minute rides where you can just buy however many seats you know. It's $30 a seat. So, you know, if there are 3 of you, you can get 3 seats. The only thing is I need to have 6 people to run it. It really isn't as fun with only 3 people. But, you know, as long as there are 6, it's a really fun time. That's the presentation.
Can I just step in? Okay, so this was a bit of a challenge for staff in terms of what category this vendor would put in. So Faith and I went back and forth, and the category that is before you is an attraction vendor. However, we on a staff level are not 100% secure in that decision. However, we wanted to make sure the board had the opportunity to view the vendor and also make a decision what category you felt they fell under, or if it was an appropriate vendor for Village Fest.
Can you define a commercial promotion vendor?
Commercial,
Yeah, is it called commercial, the ones that do promotional stuff?
we have corporate sponsorship
No.
or just a commercial vendor.
Commercial vendor.
It's a business vendor that does not meet the proper criteria under the aforementioned category guidelines may participate in Village Fest by becoming a commercial vendor, which are just all your regular. Examples for potential commercial vendors shall include real estate firms, timeshare companies, or other Coachella Valley businesses. No direct sales shall be allowed during Village Fest.
And the attraction vendor, what's the difference?
Attraction vendor is any bona fide cultural, entertainment, or sporting venue located in the Coachella Valley is allowed to participate in Village Fest. Preference of Village Fest location will be given to attractions located in the city of Palm Springs. So that would be like our our baseball.
But what about entertainment altogether, though, if he's providing that karaoke usage of the vehicle there? I mean, he's not. It
Entertainers are not selling a service, though, are they?
Well, he's not selling.
He's not selling it either, he's just advertising it.
Come up with a van
The
that.
van, the fly and dragonfly or dragonfly.
Yeah, the drag show.
And we put them
That would
under
be-
attraction,
And they were
Same thing.
approved.
attraction.
An
It's the same
attraction.
conceptually.
But it's a show, right? In other words, they're performing for someone. That's
No.
in front
No.
of us.
They are selling.
On their
They're
bus,
actually-
you're on their bus and there is a
But-
drag queen who's hosting, very similar to this, you're sitting on the bike. You're interacting with each other and there's probably somebody on the bike who is hosting.
But they're
But they
singing.
are selling.
They're singing
No,
to each
also
other,
they're
he's not
singing.
singing.
No, I know, but they're singing as opposed to a drag queen performing for the rest of that's, to me, an attraction.
But at his,
Yeah,
but
I can
at-
see the struggle.
Right, at Village, but for that Dragonfly one, they were just promoting their business
Correct.
at Village Fest, so they weren't doing anything at Village Fest.
It sounds
So,
like
except for
you're gonna
promoting.
do the same thing though. I would guess you're gonna say, if you'd like it this Saturday, I have this shift and this shift open, or.
I don't know that I'd push it that hard. I think that the excitement is, you know, when you get on there, it's people just get excited about it anyway. My QR code is there. A lot of people go to the website. I know after a ride, I go home and look at my Google business platform. And my website has had, a dozen or a couple dozen visits just from riding downtown. So I expect to be busy enough putting people, having people sing. And whoever goes online and books something, that's great, and I'll answer questions, but I don't know that I'd really push a booking.
But the point is not to sell there on the spot, the point is to promote. Just that.
Well, exactly.
Still promoting his business enough what commercial does.
It
That's
feels
why.
more like, it feels to me a lot like the Dragonfly. thing,
It does
Whatever
feel
we
like that,
classify
too.
it.
Absolutely.
I will tell you, a group of my girlfriends did it this past weekend.
Which
Uh,
one, Dragonfly or?
No, yours.
Yes, oh.
It was the Sunshine Sister.
Oh,
group,
yeah,
And they had a blast.
we are doing another one, I think, in a week or so.
Just a really
So somebody-
good time.
Somebody comes up with a
Weekly.
theme or something like, 60s girl groups or bebop, whatever, or.
Mhm.
And so I rent it for a bunch of my friends for, I don't know, a birthday or a wedding or whatever. And so they plan it, you don't.
Right, so the way it works is, I use Carafon, which is what a lot of the bars use.
Okay.
It's a commercial service that provides karaoke, across the country. They have a library of 66,000 songs. They're all downloaded on my computer, because I did try doing this live with Wi-Fi and it just does not work. I had to download everything, so when I start the Carafon session, there's a QR code in the lower corner of the screen. There are 3 screens on the bike. You scan they scan the QR code, and then they enter their name, and then they get to pick their songs and just say add to queue. And then at the top, and you've all seen how it says like next up is so-and-so. So they pick what they want, and you can either just enter the name that you want of a song, or they do offer you like hits of the 90s or, all these different categories if you need help picking it up.
My other question was a little more, I don't know if it's technical or not, but do you need a certain kind of license to do this kind of thing?
I do have the business license.
I mean, like,
To drive?
yeah, or to be a,
He's not
Did you
selling
say
the
to
service
drink?
at Village.
Right.
we can't serve that.
We're just approving him to be there and promote his business.
Yeah.
We're not approving him to run the business at. Village.
Yeah, I mean, I did get it licensed and I checked all the noise ordinances and it qualifies as an e-bike, yeah.
That was my.
No, I spent quite a bit of time at DMV before they told me it's just an e-bike with a lot of
I
seats.
think you said there is no alcohol involved on your.
It's against the law to serve it in Palm Springs.
But I could bring my thermos, right?
Do whatever you want. Don't bring a martini glass, I think it's kind
Starbucks is empty there.
And I mean, I do offer, if somebody just wants a bar crawl, I'm certainly willing to customize their ride. I've done rides where they really want to just go see mid-century modern houses and go Starbucks. So there are those.
Yeah.
But really what I'm trying to do is distinguish mine by offering the karaoke. And I have to be prepared to ride around for 2 hours straight, which is a completely different setup. It's a lot of battery power.
Oh, there's no pedaling.
Oh, you can, if they've been drinking, pedaling is useless.
Question, is it an attraction or a commercial vendor?
I think it's whatever Dragonfly is,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
which is attraction, right?
Attraction is
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dragonfly.
attraction.
Yeah, so.
I think it should be an attraction.
Yeah.
I think it is.
Don't work it there.
I can go either way with it, but yeah, attraction.
I think it's also fun. I think Palm Springs this is the kind of stuff that Palm Springs people get excited about.
That's true, and the attraction is entertaining
It's just
and
gonna add to our. the
and
flavor.
commercial's not entertaining. Yeah, no, I hear you, yeah.
This is fun.
Yeah, he just has a fun idea of how to do the promotion by having people actually sing it. It's more fun than just handing out brochures.
Right, right.
9.5. Thank you.
I would say that the attraction is probably halfway between what Joy was saying is entertainment and it being commercial. That's why that makes sense now. Now I'm okay with attraction. I wasn't.
It seems to work.
So staff attraction is. fits in.
Yes, we can work with
Are
the
you good with that?
attraction category. I just,
Does it violate anything?
no, it does not. We just need to be aware of placement. Obviously, if they're doing karaoke, it falls a little bit into
You know
the
what-
entertainment component. So Faith says she's comfortable with it and finding the appropriate location that would not interfere with other entertainers or merchants that play music. So we're okay.
Which would be more at the south, right?
Probably.
Right? Yeah,
Mhm.
that'd be
Yeah,
perfect.
good,
Good. I know someone down there who wants entertainment. but
Sure.
they're-
Any other board questions? Is there a motion?
I make a motion.
I'll
Yeah, we
second it.
what? Hey, we have a motion and a second. Let's vote. Cheryl,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
I'll vote yes. Celia,
Yes.
Antonio.
Yes.
David.
Yes,
Hey.
Well,
Thank you all.
Congratulations.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Guys, have a good night.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sean, that was great.
Okay.
This is the right place to mention this, before we move on, because we're on vendors. I was down at Village Fest 2 weeks ago, and you remember the lady who does the crocheted little,
Yes.
there's a whole bunch
I don't know
of,
what they are.
there's like, and she did little bugs and crocheted bugs.
And she did baby sets,
She
which
did
were
baby
like,
sets, but then.
like a
I
bag.
saw a whole display of like plastic earrings that I don't think were part of.
Can we, just because it's not on the agenda,
Okay.
maybe you could just mention it during board comments and
Okay.
then staff will do the
Okay.
follow-up that's required.
Okay.
We have no unfinished business. Any new business? I would like to mention last meeting, I requested some pictures for our presentation coming up to the city council in June that you might have of Village Fest pictures. Cheryl's gonna do some slides. Anything else that we would like to present to all the other commissions and commissioners and the city would be appropriate. So please take a look at that, staff too, and get that to me. I'm thinking to talk about, of course, introduce the board. I want to speak about Dan and Celia's service, being that you're rotating off the board. I'd like to spend the rest of the time briefly going over the number of vendors. I asked for data from Faith in the categories because I think that's interesting. I'd like to have pictures to go with the food, with the arts and crafts, with the entertainment and those things. But I'd like to spend the majority of the time on the survey data that we get. So that's what I'd like to do. So anything around those ideas, Dan, did you want to say something?
If I can be honest, I think the survey data is I think summarizing it is good. I wouldn't spend too much time. I think it's a dry topic for that audience. I think they'd be bored. I think highlighting things that they don't expect at Village Fest, but that are there now, like some weird vendor that does something like this guy,
Yeah.
something really different, you know, or something for the children, I think is probably a good idea to highlight. Because I think they think of Village Fest as earrings and food, right? So I think highlighting the diversity of what we're doing and how we're actually curating, that's what they want to hear. They want to know that we're really curating something different.
I thank you for that comment. I totally agree. And my objective in presenting the survey data is we have several allies on city council,
Yeah.
strong allies. And we have some asks of them.
Okay.
There are some things that we're going to need their support and help with. And so I want to put that out in front of them and say, look at all the great stuff we've done. Now, this is how we make it better for the next 33 years. So
Summarize
that's the goal.
Yeah.
Not to give them a bunch of charts and data.
Okay.
For them. So
I'm good with
So
that.
do you have a subcommittee that's gonna be working on that? It sounds like,
I
you know,
will hear it.
Cheryl has this great
Cheryl,
information.
I'm putting a few
And
slides.
you're,
well,
And
I think
you're-
to everybody else, if you have pictures,
Yeah.
yes, a subcommittee would be fabulous. And I'd love to pass this back and forth and
cause the time is really soon,
the time
actually,
is very
right?
short.
June, but we're middle of April already.
And I'm traveling the entire month of May, so I'm gone.
Wow.
Well, I also just want to remind
Probably
you
a bougie
that
problem.
while you can start to put the data together and draft, the city will send a formalized template
Yeah.
of what, and then we have to input it in there.
And I'm
So
guessing it'll be similar to what they did.
I imagine, I imagine.
How much
So
time does he get?
I think it's 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's a lot to do in 5 minutes.
Well, we went over last time, but.
Yeah, we
they're
made it work.
somewhat flexible.
Yeah.
Okay. Subcommittee, go back to Joy. Joy, would you like to help? Cheryl, would you like to help? Anybody would like to raise their hand and?
No, but,
No?
but I thought that you guys
You know,
should.
like I said, I'm happy to get you those slides on that in particular. I won't be at the meeting because I'm gonna be away already for the summer.
Okay.
But Joy, it sounded like such a good idea coming from you.
No, I just think there's a lot to it, and the survey had such good information in it,
yeah.
and I mean, there's just a lot of good stuff to report. This commission has brought Village Fest definitely further ahead.
I want to say, I think Greg has because he's part of that survey, and I think he has a handle on all of this, so it's almost like if we get too many people involved, it kind of dilutes what he wants to say, and since he's gonna be speaking, I kind of just let him take the reins.
Well, I'm
Great
only,
point.
we're only as good as this
Yes.
team at this table, so I mean, I want everybody involved. But an ask of you, is there's anything that we could put out there from the downtown merchants? A little blurb or anything like that would be uber valuable.
Or
I
something that
will
would,
Uber do it.
or something that would demonstrate our strong connection with the downtown.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Because that's the
We're
important.
partners, yes.
Yeah.
Well, we could certainly mention how no merchants ever come to my Main Street meetings complaining about Village Fest, that's for sure, right?
Well, we could switch that to a positive and just say that,
There's only 3
that
of them
the,
in town.
yeah.
Leave that part out.
And I'm happy to go around Village Fest and get whatever pictures you want.
Thank you. That's where I would.
Nice,
figure.
nice.
If you remember
Good.
last year, I had some pictures I took of the lady who does the vintage stuff that she turns into lights. and
Mhm. Right,
artwork.
right.
And I had a couple council members say, I wish we could spend more time looking at those. That
Yeah.
was really
Right.
cool. So anyway,
I'll get a nice picture of the food court,
yes.
all the
yes,
different
yes.
trucks and
Right.
all that stuff.
You know what might be cool is a slide that has some pictures and talks about, shows all the different audiences that we serve for. In other words, we have, like the person who was here, you know, this stuff is for children, and then we have all these body products that are for adults, and we have this, you know, fashion clothing for people that are into, like, that kind of thing. And again, diversified food, because everybody thought of it as
Yeah.
taco trucks for years and years,
Yes.
right? So I think maybe something like that, again, to show the evolution, because I truly believe, and not because I'm on this board, I truly believe that it has evolved in the time that I've lived here, big time.
Yeah, agreed.
And especially the time that we've been on the board for the last 6 years.
I would like to see a mention as well with the 5 or so Village Fest vendors that have open brick and mortar businesses. I think that that's a really important part of the
Okay.
economic development
Yes.
side of
You-
Village
that can be
Fest.
I mean, I know,
Sure.
you know, the ones that come to my
Yes.
head, but please,
Mhm.
thank you.
Well, yeah, if you talk to like the
Yeah.
engagement with the community, it's the engagement with the Main Street vendors, it's the engagement with the high school,
Mhm.
you know, for doing
Yes,
surveys.
yes,
absolutely.
Those are all,
The partnership.
yeah.
The partnership.
And they have a booth there as well.
Yeah.
The high school does.
We're all about partnership,
Good
we're all about
point,
diversity,
good
maybe
point.
do, have
Yeah.
fun with that, you know.
Using city resources.
What are some of the things that we think about from the Village Fest board? Well, we think, you know, about diversity, we think about partnerships, we think about, and here's a just quick list of how we've engaged, you know, in those areas. It's probably a good idea.
The one last thing I wanted to say in new business, and I don't know how many of you are on Facebook or any of the social medias I'm in. There's one particular group that I follow, Gay Men of Palm Springs.
I wonder why.
The chorus or?
No, Amen of Palm Springs.
There's a bunch of naysaying old queens in there.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry. and much public. But I'll stand by my comment.
I second that.
I can't say it.
And-
No.
I said it.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, right?
Some of the incidents that have occurred around the confines of Village Fest, incidences that the city's addressing, get blown out of proportion in these social media venues. I have been so tempted to interject, and it is not my place to do that, and we cannot do that. But it frustrates me, and I just want to go on the record and say, it is not Village Fest that's involved, and we could come out with some statement that says Village Fest is safe. Village Fest has X number of police involved every night. Village Fest has staff involved, and put some of these naysayers to bed. It's not a Village Fest problem. It's a City of Palm Springs problem that they are addressing. So I'm sorry I ranted.
No, but in 5 minutes, I think sticking to the positive things would be,
Yeah.
you're not gonna
Yes.
have that much time, so,
Correct.
no,
I
And
know
those people are not in the room either, just remember that too.
exactly.
But
So, something to think about,
There's
know
a
your
lot
audience,
to be
right?
covered, but you have 5 minutes and
I'm
there's
in
gonna be a
that group.
template of what.
How I got it.
I'm done with it.
I only read it. I'm afraid to comment on anything. because-
I get a little-
Yeah.
I get a little worked up and passionate. I'm
Yeah,
so
yeah.
proud of the work
Very
this group does.
protective.
Look at it.
Yeah.
So
All right,
I'm,
let's move on.
I'm done,
Board
just
comment?
moving
Okay.
forward.
Wait,
Sorry, one
Sorry.
second. Moving forward, I'm just gonna add to unfinished business, the joint commission meeting, so that in
Thank
the
you.
future, you can continue to have this
Thank you.
conversation
Very good.
and address it.
Thank you. Next, board comments?
So, I'm gonna try to find, I'm gonna try to alert you, Faith, when I go down there
Yeah.
next, because this surprised me when I walked past the booth. It was a lot of
Is it the
stuff.
one across from H&M?
I don't know where she was. I was handing out flyers, for the
Okay. with
Birthday.
July.
crazy. But I saw just a bunch of stuff that we did not approve. Whole
Okay.
wrap of earrings that looked like they were.
Yeah,
She's-
yeah, just next time let staff know and I can address it that night, but I think I know who you're speaking of.
Yeah,
It's the one she does all the little,
shaped
yeah,
Key rings and things, which were.
I will,
cute.
yes, I'm
But
happy,
then-
and her booth is always busy too, so I'm
Right.
happy to go in there and
Okay.
check it out this
Okay,
week for
great.
sure.
Thank you.
Yep, absolutely.
Any other board comments? I just have one.
I could go with Main Street or Board, whatever you want.
All right, one more thing. We haven't met since the birthday party. It
Mhm.
was fabulous. Thank you to staff, thank you to Parks and Rec for all that you did to make that happen. I mean, those cupcakes went in a hurry.
And we ordered extra ones this year too.
I know,
Yeah.
poor Jasmine didn't make it.
I
She's the
know.
first one she's.
And it was a huge crowd, so thank you for all you did in celebrating Village Fest.
Absolutely.
Well, thank
thanks
you.
for-
I loved, your little speech. I thought you did great.
Yeah.
It was.
It
It really was
Thank
good.
you. That was a very good speech.
Yes,
Really.
It was a great band too.
it was, yeah.
Oh,
I don't know if I'm speaking in, well, I'm not a board member, so there, I'm speaking in Main Street comments because I'm not a board member. But we did walk Village Fest and I'm sorry to say, I was a little disappointed at the amount of non-approved stuff at their booths. Including one lady who kind of turned me around to talk, but in my peripheral vision, I could see her husband removing things from the table and putting them under the table. And then I looked her up and it turns out that about 8 years ago, I even had a similar issue with this same vendor. And I think today too, you hear from this vendor that was here today, this very sweet young woman, that's talking about how the booth that she's just coming from, that they've been doing it 75% of the booth. It's somebody I've already asked to be brought up to Village Fest previously, and they came. But I don't feel that it was an entirely honest presentation, but I was a little disappointed by the number of things that I would find it hard to believe were actually approved by a board, this board or any other. So I think that we used to have some enforcement subcommittee, or you used to have some enforcement subcommittee or something. It doesn't have to really be a subcommittee. I mean, I got no problem walking up and down the street and giving some notes back to staff about it because I was surprised.
Is a reminder email or memo out to all the vendors in order or maybe just to the arts and crafts?
I think it's okay to send it
All of them?
to everybody.
Okay, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And then just remind them that the board is out and they are
Exactly.
monitoring.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, we'll get that
Just a
out this
reminder,
week.
Blah, 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 and we have noticed some unapproved items and please refrain from that, and I mean, it's not that, that you want to put a threat, but say that, your continued participation in Village Fest depends on complying with rules.
And maybe that should be part of our responsibility too, is as we go down to Village Fest for whatever
Yeah.
reason, whether it's with friends
Yeah.
or just officially, that we use our eyes and take pictures
Yeah.
and send them to Faith and Jasmine so that they can
Yeah.
Agreed.
follow up
Yeah.
and not.
And
should
I,
have some more.
right.
It always has been actually, but yeah.
and I'm happy to address it that night.
But-
It's much easier, you know, to,
On the
as soon as you send it to me, for me to go
Yeah.
down there. And I will say that, vendors will tell on other vendors.
Yes.
So, I mean,
They do.
you know, even if it's not you guys, like, even if it's not me that I don't see it,
Yeah.
the vendors, they've talked to me and I've had to go talk to Boots and, but yes,
Exactly. Why should I follow the rules if that person?
right,
Sure.
right.
Okay.
But it is better to not really interact with the vendors as board
Oh,
members, in
right.
my opinion. And honestly, some of them get really mad.
Yeah.
And you don't want to put yourself in that position. You want to put Faith in that. She has really good insurance and stuff, so. No, but really, you know, we should try not to really say anything to
Thank you
upset
for
'em.
bringing that up. It's a good point and
And let me know who it is. We'll go and
I
make
got
sure.
some-
when we're all down there, just take a look. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Subcommittee reports, the marketing, social media, Antonio, Joy, anything?
Oh, no, it's okay. Everything's okay. You got a marketing discussion going on here in just a little bit, but like we have 553 new followers on Instagram.
This month?
March 9th to April 7th. So that's.
Does it ever drop off after they're done here? Like, usually we get new followers because someone's coming here for the week or something, right? Do any of the vacationers drop off after? Do they?
That's
Or
been a
is-
decline,
Yeah.
and
been
it's
up.
always been just a slight increase as we go.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's good. Village Fest, the one on Facebook is down just a little bit, but you know, there's gonna be, that's just from this exact day.
Well, Facebook is down.
Well,
This is
Facebook
down.
is declining.
Yeah,
Did you post the I Love Canadians banner on the Facebook?
yes, I did.
Type thing?
Instagram.
I put it on all of them.
Very
Yeah.
good.
It's been back the last few weeks.
It has.
But you were there before 6 last week and it was already
Mhm.
like slammed.
Yeah, it's hard, walking down the street.
You know-
I have to kind of go on the back and on the side, because you can't get any, yeah,
You know-
but it's great. Oh, it's
Right.
great.
I
But
was-
yeah, it's that time.
I was walking with Celia first, but then we ran out of flyers. It was so packed, I literally considered that I could lift my feet up and be carried by the crowd down the street. Like I was at a concert or something.
Kinda like Cleopatra?
It was really, yes, that would be fine. It was really crowded and, yeah.
It's great to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had
don't
to
have
ask
perfect weather
strangers if
right now.
if they'd mind if I hold their elbow because it's slightly uphill on the way walking north and. But it was very enjoyable. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me to do that with you. I enjoyed it.
We're gonna get to that.
Mhm.
Didn't have to post a contest, so I'll wait.
Antonio, you good? Anything to add? Good, okay. Cheryl, anything to add from
No,
you?
nothing new. I mean, we'll wait at this point to the fall to, figure out the general population survey. So other than getting you some slides, there's anything I can do?
Thank you. So you could probably just remove my name from that, or unless we have anything to do before June, then fine, but. Yeah.
We'll just leave you on there
We'll
just in
leave on
case
there.
something
Yeah,
comes
you're-
up.
You're stuck with us.
Give you an assignment.
That's what we need to do, is put a lot of responsibilities.
Yeah.
Right
It's a
now.
short-
And then we say,
Yeah.
"Well, he can't leave it."
The youth banner and vendor poster contest.
Nothing.
Celia?
Nothing.
That one's just on hold until we start to head into summer season, because we're gonna use summer programming to
Okay.
implement that program.
And then the last one was summer logistics.
Well, the vendor, let's talk about the
Oh,
vendor.
sorry.
The vendor poster. Joy and I did hand out, as many of, we ran out of notices, of flyers. And some of them were hard to give the flyers out to all the vendors because they were in the process
So
of selling.
busy.
something.
Mhm. Very, I know.
Here, so.
Yeah,
So I was hoping
Yeah.
that we could do a
A
set note
follow-up.
blast to all the vendors.
Oh, sure.
Have you had any response?
yes.
Yes, I did have one today, or yesterday, actually.
Yeah.
It was that Jenkin Deck. That he does the
Card decks.
The card decks. I don't know that he understood the Village Fest aspect of it, because he just kind of sent a picture of a king that was from the 50s.
So we're trying to work with them to refocus a
Like, we're
little bit.
like.
Cause the deadline for the submission is coming up. isn't it?
April 3rd, April 30th.
I know, sounds like
Yeah, so we'll send an email blast to try and re-engage people.
Great.
And then if we are maybe towards the end of next week, if we haven't started to receive more, well, Faith and I will figure out some other ways to get the information back out to
Great,
them.
thank you.
Because I'm sure after handing out cupcakes, you definitely did not have enough time to hit all the vendors.
We
that-
did.
Oh, you did?
But we ran out of flyers.
So we ran out of
I
flyers.
think I printed like 125 or something too.
We went all the way though. We did the
Okay.
whole street.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll send the email blast.
Okay.
The summer logistics subcommittee, anything to?
So from a staff level, we haven't worked on it yet. We will have a update at your next meeting.
So we'll just leave this on here.
Yes, until we have a draft of a plan.
Which is a nice segue into
Hopefully
staff
next week.
reports.
Yes.
It's good afternoon, good
Hello?
evening, I guess.
Pull up a chair, you're practically.
It's fine, it's fine. We won't take up too much of your time, but I know previously at your board retreat, you all discussed about hiring on a marketing vendor. And so I worked with both Jasmine and Faye to draft up a proposal that we're working with procurement to set this out. And we want to make sure we get that in before the end of the fiscal year, use up some of the funds that we currently have in the Village Fest account, and that carry that over into the next year. So the way that we've drafted up this proposal is really into 6 different parts. One, focusing on marketing strategy and planning, really identifying some of the key components of Village Fest, promoting that out as far as targeting new followers and new kind of vendors to participate, kind of just enhancing the brand a little bit. Second, and talking about the brand, is focusing on branding and creative development, redefining kind of and figuring out exactly what the messaging is for the Village Fest brand, and ensuring that all of the vendors understand that, you as the board understands that, which I know definitely do. And then of course the community understands really what the Village Fest means. Also talking about digital marketing and how we kind of figure out how we enhance our digital presence, both on the website and on social media, and creating more followers and focusing on that. Public relations, as we talked about some of the negative things that happen around kind of the Village Fest footprint that isn't really tied in with Village Fest itself, but really kind of figuring out what are key messages that we can have on standby in any case we need to push that out. You know, drafting press releases to promote everything with like special events and things that we do tying in with Village Fest. Community engagement and outreach is another component. We're really going to focus on, you know, the surrounding community, the valley, promoting Village Fest is kind of this weekly fair that we're doing every week. And then doing a lot more outreach on how we can engage people to come out more and more. I know we already have these terrific crowd, which is great, but we want to also make sure that they're buying from our vendors too and enhancing that. And then of course, reporting and analytics, that we can do some type of annual report, present that to the board. I know there's been talks about presenting that to the council as well, and making sure that we're keeping up with, from a staffing perspective, on that we're doing well and we're working with this vendor that we hired to making sure that everything that we do as far as marketing, PR, outreach is good use of public dollars. So that's kind of how we've structured it. Again, we're working with procurement. They're finalizing up the request for proposals, and then once we're ready to go ahead and send that out, we'll let the board know, so that if you have any vendors that may be interested in that, we can send them that way to the bid system to bid on the project, and then we'll look forward on hiring a vendor pretty soon.
Right.
Very nice work.
I've got a couple of questions.
Yeah, I do
Oh,
too.
you have it? Oh, great.
Yeah, so one is, you mentioned the fiscal year. When is the fiscal year? That's very quick.
It ends June 30th.
Okay, so that's soon. And then, do you know, will they be given like an assignment to come back with? Like, as part of the RFP, so that they, each of the I don't know how many marketing agencies will go out to, I assume 2 or 3. And will they then have to come back so that they each answer a specific sort of project?
They will create a proposal that we will review, that will get into kind of their history, some similar projects that they've worked on. And then they go through an interview process. We haven't really structured that point yet, but that's when the interview is like the evaluation period, where we will review the proposal, we'll review any references that they submit, and then to identify how it kind of works and fits best for us. And then also include a budget. So usually they'll provide like a cost per hour, or if it's like on a retainer cost or stuff like that.
Yeah, that was my next question, was
Yeah.
about like whether we're giving them a budget to work with, or asking them to come back and tell us like, what do you think our budget should be?
Yeah, it's gonna be on what we think the budget should be, because there's a lot of asks in here and we have a certain dollar amount. I think it's 50,000 that we have for the year. So it's a significant amount. But we don't know how much we're gonna utilize them, right? And so there may be a lot of, dollars spent right at the beginning, because a lot of startup for that, and then it may taper off as we go throughout the year.
I have a comment or and a question, I guess. What are we doing to reach the people that don't come to Village Fest, that don't know about Village Fest, or that just don't hear? I mean, it's nice to be able to talk to the people that show up, but I'm shocked just because.
It's not a survey, though. This is a
Yeah,
marketing
this
plan
is
to
good.
reach out to other people.
What do we, I guess what
What
I'm
are we
asking is,
gonna
what they're gonna figure out how to reach those people?
Correct.
Engagement and
Yeah.
outreach, yeah.
Yeah.
Visit Palm Springs and Visit Greater Palm Springs both do a lot of showing off of Village Fest on their websites and within their marketing. So that's one thing those are some of the things that are happening right now, so that we could get people to come, whether they come or
Actually,
not.
it's strange that, for instance, if somebody were to go to one PS meeting and say, list the top 5 things that attract people to Palm Springs year round, where would Village Fest fall if it would? And I mean, I'm just doing this because my own board, half of them don't even remember that it's still there. They've lived here 20, 30 years. And it's, oh, it's that thing down there on Thursdays, but I haven't been there. I don't know what it's like. And I just don't go. I don't get into it. It's not my thing, but they don't know what it is.
And that's the purpose
Okay.
of this proposal, right? Is like to not only engage the visitors that are already staying in downtown and they know that this is happening, they can just walk out of their hotels and participate at the event, but also engage our residents who may not want to come or may think like we're closing down the street every Thursday, maybe have some negative connotation with
Or
it.
been there, done that.
Right, yeah, that this is an ever growing experience.
It's very different every.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna put that on the vendor to help us
Okay.
with that messaging. As you mentioned, we already work with those different bureaus in town, but what we also want to do is have the vendor also tell us where markets are we not reaching? Are there like radio ad buys that we need to do? Are there promotional materials that we maybe need to post in the airport or maybe in the rental car vendors or whatever it is, right? Like, and that's what we hope to gain out of this as well. That
Nick,
makes sense?
something you said that I really liked was also get more people to buy things from the vendors.
Yeah.
Because we focus on getting people to the street.
Correct.
Well, that's okay, and we're super crowded, right, already.
Yeah.
But I think what's really important is that it's successful from a business standpoint as well, especially for the vendors. That's what keeps the vendors there and makes new vendors want to come. They hear from their friends that they're doing really well there. So I think that's key. That's more key than just trying to attract people to come down there to looky-loo.
Sure.
To be honest.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so much of that too can be after the event, right? And so, we've had a lot of conversation too about how do we make sure their information is posted on the website, where they are in the actual vendor area,
Yeah.
stuff like that. And so that's also part of this as well.
I think if we identify activities for the vendors to participate in more, in other words, like, listing their stuff, being listed on the Village Fest website, I always said, I always want to go down there to eat, but I never know who's going to be there for food.
Sure.
I wish we had a listing of that and what they serve and everything, but some of the vendors liked the privacy in the beginning. This is a business. I don't support keeping them private. I think we almost need to mandate them to provide us with their information and their website and everything else, so that
Oh, I
it could
understand.
be
Sure.
on our website and every place else.
Sure.
But yeah. So yeah.
I think we need to ask ourselves, what is Village Fest?
Right.
And what does it want to be? In the season, I mean, the crowds are tremendous. during the birthday party, I walked the streets and I thought, is this getting too big? I mean, it's just like
Too crowded.
too crowded.
And you expand.
And we really need this many jewelry vendors and, I mean.
Yeah.
Who knows the answer to that question, but those are the things that this will help us define.
As well as doing a survey in the fall of
Yeah.
people who are going.
Yeah.
It will be harder to do a survey among people who don't go. That's the case with any
Right.
research, right?
Mhm.
It's-
Sure.
But the people who are there, we're gonna be able to get a lot of information from.
We're number 8 out of 10 in Chat GPT.
We're number 7 on TripAdvisor.
I was just
Yeah.
looking up.
It's not-
I do want to end with just know that this is going to be a year-long process. And so many of the recommendations and everything isn't going to happen overnight,
Correct.
right? It's going to require a lot of board engagement, a lot of engagement with our vendors themselves, and of course with staff. But I just want to manage expectations on that end as well.
Will that start this year, the marketing in this calendar year, or will it not start until after the first?
In this calendar year,
Fiscal year,
yes.
next fiscal year.
Fiscal year is going to be a little tight. But we hope to hire someone soon. Yeah.
Yeah.
You mean?
Well, he said calendar.
He-
Calendar is the end
calendar,
of
right?
December.
He said
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Okay.
Yeah. That's how we go. Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Great.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Good stuff, Nick.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Staff, anything else?
Just two brief things. We wanted to remind everybody that this Saturday is World Art Day and Village Fest is the largest art event that happens in the city. So we will have a booth out there. We hope that some board members will come out and join us. If you can, let us know. Bring a hat
Saturday?
and some sunblock. Yes, it's this Saturday and it's at the downtown park.
Park.
Yeah, so if you can come and hang out for an hour or so, we would appreciate it.
The hours?
10 to
10 to 2. And then second, I just wanted to let you all know that we did receive notification that we are going to be losing some booth space at Village Fest, located right outside of the Wellwood Mary Library, due to a parklet that's gonna be placed out there. That is gonna start as of May 1st. So we have notified the vendors. Faith and I are working on relocating those vendors to a different location, but that will impact obviously Village Fest in a significant way.
How
So
many groups are we talking about?
I think it,
Like 6 or 7.
That many?
Well, it's the whole, it's.
So it's from the corner all the way to past the Plaza Theater. Past
Correct.
Brandini.
Well, to the whole block there, I don't think it goes past, because then they have the other parklets are on the other side.
well, yeah, that we already have, there's already parklets on the other side of Brandini, like
Yeah.
Brandini.
There's
Go
one
down
down,
to the
yeah. there's
plaza.
already
So we're
parklets there.
basically losing
The
that
whole,
whole
the
block.
whole block.
well, that side of the street on the whole block.
Yes,
Correct.
But we still have things cross street,
yes.
except for the cigar places, because they have.
Yeah, that's down further.
Yeah.
So we just want to give you a notification. We received that from engineering. So we are
We're very
planning on our end how to move that forward.
Where's the art festival again?
Downtown
Downtown
park.
Oh, okay.
Drum circle.
And then what will the impact of the new Plaza Theater have on the street?
I am not sure yet. I have asked for a schedule of events. So we can see what impact that's gonna have on Thursday nights. But as of now, this is the most significant impact that we're working through.
They would be wise to not have events on Thursday nights. I don't know how
Agreed.
people get in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And traffic.
Parking and everything.
Yeah.
The Follies used to have their.
Every
that
Thursday, it would
bus.
be so busy.
Yeah, and they used to all come out,
Yes.
the ladies in their hats.
I
I've
guess
watched
they
the
do.
Follies.
first Thursday that they do something will be such a nightmare that they'll probably change.
Yeah, well, so I'll let you know as soon as I have the full schedule.
Are you in touch with John Bolton on this?
I am not, no,
Okay.
just working with the city, on the city's end.
Okay, I saw him on TV talking about the events.
Mhm.
He's also doing events here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The busy man.
And that is all we have.
And for Nick, John was a board member for a brief moment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Brief moment.
Yeah, he
No
actually had to
problem.
resign because he got the job with the
Not for sure.
Aperture Arena. Gosh, and it was taking up too much time.
Not an agenda item. I should have got it on new business, but I got a communication today from Jeffrey Bernstein. He is starting his holiday campaign for
Ah.
Palm Springs. Very festive,
Christmas in July.
very much a part of it. Stay tuned for that.
Open for that.
Yeah.
Too.
Anything else? Is there a motion to adjourn?
No moved.
All in favor?
All right.
Any opposed? Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
See you in 2 weeks.
Yes, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Good night.
Good night.